This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode. Dare I say, a bit emotional maybe, but we're gonna take a turn up. I don't know, I'm just excited to do it, but thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Public Affair. I'm super excited to get into it with my next guest on the show, but before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to all of you for all the love and support that you give me for the show. 5.5 years that we've been in production, so I'm super grateful, and of course, to Rogue Media Network. Josh is producing this episode. I just run into Mason as well. Hello guys, hello. Now before we continue, please like, share, and subscribe, and I want to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by, of course, my very good friend, David Santabañez with Linear Real Estate. He's the #1 sales agent in his office, where he's going to help you buy a home or sell your property. If you guys don't know how to buy a house, you guys don't know what you're doing, you need a step-by-step instruction, David Santabañez is so patient. He's so hardworking. He works all kinds of hours to make sure that you're getting what you need and that you're involved in every single step of the process. Hit him up right now. Se habla español también to my boy, David Santabañez. Thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. Of course, to one of my favorite, my only favorite Cajun spot in town, Armstrong's Bayou Cafe with Anika Armstrong, serving the most authentic Creole cuisine with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. My favorite is absolutely any pasta that you can craft there yourself. I love getting some crawfish tails, some chicken, some chives. I love it so much. Now, I'm not a baked potato person, but her baked potatoes be sending me those seafood baked potatoes. You guys have got to go try them. Now, it's good for dinner. You're not going to eat for 2 days after that, okay? But Armstrong's Bayou Cafe is giving to Union Hall and Union Grove, and you can also book for catering and check out where her food truck is going to be as well. Anika Armstrong, thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. Of course, to Manny Guerrero at Blue Star RV Services. Listen, if all my friends who are full-time RVs, who have a food truck, whatever the case is, they are the best mobile RV tech in and around town. They can fix all travel trailers, with wheels, haulers, and so much more. They deal with the warranty company, so you don't have to pay them their small service fee, and they're going to get your issues taken care of because they're the best. Blue Star RV Services, thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. Of course, my very good friend Jeff Davis, the Texas car plug at University Mazda Kia. You can hit him up to get the best deal on a brand new or pre-owned vehicle. Listen, no matter what the credit's crediting, no matter what the finances are financing, he's going to make sure you're rolling off the lot in something cutesy-wootsy so that way you can show off to all your friends and family, because Jeff Davis is the best at doing that. Jeff Davis, thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. And of course, to Oso's Barbecue with Oso and Juanita Garza. They specialize in smoked briskets, ribs, chicken links, and more. It's giving lunchtime. Their sides include Juana's famous potato salad, beans, and so much more. You guys, they're perfect for quinces, weddings, if you're getting a divorce, hello, and so much more. Listen, just no hookers at the party, all right? That's what he said. He said he doesn't want all those problems. They're not trying to get arrested. So Oso's Barbecue, Oso and Juanita Garza, thank you guys so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. Make sure you guys book your next catering with them. All right, guys, like I said, I've been super excited to have this next guest onto the show because I've been keeping my eye on her for a while. Not stalking, just saying, I got to be doing my homework, okay? And when she came in with gifts like red wine, I don't know who told her I love red wine, but I'm a red wine stan. I absolutely love it. And this cup is cupping. It's cute. It's the white for me because white is in right now. And I'm sorry, not the rose gold letters. Hello. She's doing her thing. The cup is as beautiful as she is. She is a well sought out realtor in town and so much more. And you just achieved 10 years. Yes, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I am so excited to welcome my very special guest on The Public Affair, Vianey Suarez.
Hi, you said it right.
Hello. Well, I'm Spanish.
Good.
Hey, you grew up in Chicago, what I heard.
I did.
Okay,
I
so
did.
Are we from a Mexican-American family, or is it different? Or?
I'm actually born. I was born in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So I'm Mexican. We migrated to Chicago back in 1994.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we lived there for 6 years before we came to Texas back in 2000. So Texas has been home ever since.
Okay, you're not from New York.
I'm not.
Well, I'm from New York.
Oh, you are
Yeah,
from
I've been
New
living here
York.
for 20 years already. But you know, when I think about the immigration, and of course I want to get into that in just a minute, okay? But when I think about the immigration of Mexicans to America, so when the closest thing that I saw in terms of like immigrations, we had a lot of Salvadorians in New York, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that. Mexico to Chicago seems really far.
It is.
You know what I
It
mean?
is.
Like, I wonder why they don't just stop at Texas,
Right?
Or somewhere in the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have Mexican cousins
Yeah.
from Chicago.
Yeah, well, that was the plan. So
Okay.
initially, my mom actually got here first with my little sisters, and the idea was to stay in Austin
Yeah.
because that's where we had some family, and our godparents, they lived there. So it took a minute for my daddy to definitely leave Mexico. You know, he was just so in love with his country and the culture and everything. And then my mom kind of gave him an ultimatum and said, hey, if you don't come within the next month, I'm going to have to go back because I can't be here with 2 little girls. And she was pregnant too.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, well, just go to Chicago where my family is, because a lot of his family lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
So she moved there and we ended up there for 6 years before we moved back to Texas, where she ultimately wanted to be.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
that was her favorite.
I think that's so great. And, you know, I want to get into, you know, a little bit more of your family in just a second. But can I just, for all disclaimer purposes, you look fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure you get that all the time. But you
you're
guys,
so
she's
sweet.
a total fox in person.
You're so
I was
sweet.
looking at your pictures on social media. You could be on a telenovela.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you get that?
So you read my joke?
No, I'm being serious. Okay, but you're gonna don't be mad at me when I say this. You look like you would make the perfect villain in a telenovela.
Right?
Yeah, no, you would. Like, you got the face and the posture. Like, we love you, but then we hate you at the same time.
Oh,
And
how
now, in real
funny.
life, she's a sweetheart. In real life, but you would make a very good villain arc.
Yeah, I've
character.
always said that, you know, and my friends tell me that. And they're like you said, you don't mean it in a bad way.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, the pobrecitas, the victims, they don't make an impact as much as the villains.
Yeah, the villains be the ones with the you know, the sequel.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, they do. And you know what it is for me, Vianey, is first of all, it's the body. You look fantastic.
thank you.
Yeah. And you know, you gave your age out just a second ago.
I did.
But you look like you're so young, and I hope that I look like you at your age.
Oh, you're so awesome. Yeah.
Because I feel old. But no, it's the jet black hair
Oh.
and just that banging body. I just want
Well,
to
with
be-
a little help.
Hello.
You know, I'm very honest.
When
a
you
little
say,
help.
When you say a little help, are you talking about a little bit nip and tuck? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that,
Nothing
girl.
wrong with
Okay?
that.
Yes.
You know, I'm always pro. Hey, if
Yeah.
you guys want to do it, and if you have the means, and it's not going to stop you from paying your rent, go for it.
I love it.
Just make sure that you get it done with a good surgeon. You know, with someone that's accredited.
Okay.
Because right now there's a lot of just, you know, like doctors, general doctors doing plastic surgery.
Sure.
And sometimes they do it for the money to save, you know, money, and then they get in the wrong hands.
They get
And-
those botched
Yeah.
surgeries. Yeah,
And,
for sure.
you know, they have to be accredited. They have to be plastic surgeons. They have to do their residency and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, hey, don't try to save your money on your body, because this is the only one you're going to have in your lifetime. So.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you're open about that. You
Yeah.
know, because I feel like a lot of
Totally.
people are shameful about
No.
things like that. How do you find the confidence to talk about that? And can you talk about what kind of work you've gotten done?
Yeah,
there?
of course. You know, after having kids, you know, these go down. So they needed a little help
They look
to go back
fantastic,
up.
by the way. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
And don't worry, I'm not going to slide in your DMs because
Yeah.
you know I'm-
No, you're fine. I'm
Okay.
totally open about it. You know,
love it.
like breast implants, of course.
Okay.
Initially, I had bigger ones, and I wasn't comfortable with them, to be honest.
You have bigger
know.
ones.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that
Okay.
whenever you get breast implants, go bigger, because, you know, you will and probably regret it, and you might want to go for more, and then you have to return and get the surgery. Well, I don't know why I listened to that. So I just asked the surgeon, go a little bigger, but then
Okay.
it wouldn't go with my body, you know, and it was
okay.
just, and big breast or like bigger implants are not in anymore, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
You know?
Even yeah, I've heard a lot of even men talk about that when
Yeah.
it comes to like just they'd be like all
Yeah.
up here and shit. Like, they're just not.
Yeah, I feel like they're out of style.
Yeah.
And they just have to go with your body.
Okay, I got you.
And then, of course, I got a tummy tuck. And since they were going to throw away my fat, the doctor's like, hey, do you want a little BBL? Because you need a little bit here.
Hello. Okay.
So I'm like, hey, if you're going to toss it away, might as well put it in you know,
there.
in the right places.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you always tell the doctor, just, you know, keep it natural. And then I started gaining weight, and then the natural stuff went away, and I started like looking really big from over
okay,
here.
big hips.
Yeah, because that's the first thing that grows whenever you're eating all this carbs. And I was like, oh, never mind. So before going to get it reduced, I was like, no, I need to get in shape. What's the point of getting all the surgeries
Right.
if you're not going to eat right?
Okay.
Because, you know, plastic surgery is not to change you. It's, you know, to enhance your body.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it takes diet and exercise to keep it where it needs to be.
Okay. That's
So,
important.
yeah. So I felt like that was a thing for me. I was just like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go try to get another lipo because I gained some weight, and I won't stop eating burgers. On the other hand,
Yeah.
I'm going to start this diet, and I'm with a coach right now in California. He's amazing.
Uh-huh.
You know, we do like online coaching, and he helps me with my fitness and with my diet, and I love it.
Okay,
love
that's so
it.
good. And again, I just love that you're so open about that
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, they really are scared. But I love the point that you just made about how important your nutrition
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of yourself post-surgery is too.
100%.
I think a lot of people are under the impression that once you get, all that work done, it just stays that way. Well,
Nope.
well, no. So that's the quickest way to ruin it, and then it look crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen those girls that have like this big booty and their legs are skinny? Well, I have skinny legs. So if you want to make sure that you keep what the doctor puts you on, you definitely have to get into good habits.
I love it. Okay. Well, kudos to you, girl. And I have to say, it's working out for you perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And if I was a woman, I would do it. But I think men that get BBLs, I don't really like that.
I've seen some.
I've seen it too. Because obviously I'm, yeah. And for some, yeah.
You're gifted by nature, right? You have good genes.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Well, okay. I don't use illicit drugs. I do take care of myself.
Good.
Although I love the occasional burger. And, I when I see a guy, I think big butts on women looks fantastic. Like you have like such a great shape, right? But for some reason, when I see a guy with a BBL, I'm like, no.
And if it's a married guy, someone that's married, like, your wife allowed that?
Yeah,
you know
gay.
what I mean?
That's gay. She won't say it, but I'll say it. That's very gay. I've had men tell me they want me to get a BBL to be more attractive to me. I was like, I'm totally not doing that. I blocked. Like, I'm not doing that. It's
hey,
crazy.
no judgment. If they love it, if they feel comfortable with it, hey.
That's what you guys want to do.
Kudos to you.
I'm just saying, when it's on Vianey, it looks fantastic. That's it. So regarding your family life, how would you say that was like growing up? I mean, was there any challenges having to immigrate from Mexico and stuff like that?
Well, I gotta tell you, I hear a lot of stories about people that migrate because they're having it really bad in Mexico or other countries, of course, because the United States has immigrants from all over the world, right? So most of the stories that I hear are those who couldn't afford a piece of bread. They couldn't bring food to their table. We were very fortunate. My parents have always been hard workers. They are, before the whole power couple, thing came out, I was like, hey, I grew up with a power couple. Okay. Mom and dad made a great team. My mom is a go-getter. Yeah. And my daddy is really good with the finances. Oh. So they, whenever they first got married, they came to the States and they worked a little bit. But back then, they used to save money. People that will come to the States will make money and take it back and build a house and buy a car. And I asked my parents, how, it seems like it was easier back then. How do you guys do it? And the one thing that my dad tells me is that they didn't know anything about brands. They didn't care if their shoes were Nike or, they didn't care if, my mom never cared about a Louis. Okay. She's like, I want a purse where I can put my savings in so I can take them back to my home country and build that house, right?
As long as it got that zipper.
There you go. Okay. So they were here for a couple of years and they were great providers. My daddy is a sweetheart. I'm a papi's girl. I love my papi. My mama has that, attitude, but dad has helped her so much. Yeah. Before I was very judgmental with my mom, like, oh my God, she's always mad. She's always like, bossy. But now I understand that actually helps someone's character, So it worked out perfectly. They had their business down there, but things started to get bad in the 90s when it comes to the economy. Okay. So it was more like the economy issue. Of course, the little cartels popping up here and there. So we lived in a small town, far away from the big city, 4 hours south of Mexico City. Okay. It's a beautiful town. It's surrounded by mountains. It has rivers. It has waterfalls. And
what's it called?
It's called Lubianos.
Oh, okay.
Lubianos, Estado de Mexico. So we are in Tierra Caliente. Yeah. It's a region from Mexico which is very unique to its cuisine and even the music. It's different, like from the northern part of Mexico. Yeah. So it was just a really, really cool childhood. Yeah, we knew each other. It was a small town. We could go out there and be free and, run around the streets. There was no Nintendo back then. There was no social media.
You had to go outside.
Yeah, so we had to find ways to entertain ourselves. So my childhood was great.
Oh, that's so great.
It was great. And then having to migrate into Chicago, imagine coming from a little town where everybody looks the same. Yeah. We all had the olive skin. Some were darker like my daddy. Some were lighter like my mama, right? But everybody looks the same. And then you go to Chicago and you see, the Orientals. You see the African Americans. And then Chicago being such a big city, there's neighborhoods like there's a Puerto Rican neighborhood there, which is beautiful. Yes. And they have great food and they're always so happy and they do festivals and stuff. It's just amazing.
We'd be having parades, girl.
There you go. Yeah, the parade was amazing.
Parades.
Yeah. So it was a change, but I never blame my parents for bringing us over. They were just looking for a better life for their kids.
I love that. And, you mentioned that culture shock aspect of it, because I remember, so my best friend and his wife, they're from Damian Carmona, San Luis Potosí.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so when she came here for the first time, I remember when, like, even because there's like no black people where they're from, right? And so when she saw black people for the first time, she was just like, oh, wow. Like, just shocked, because they have like their cool wigs and stuff like that. And she was like, I've just never been exposed to that. And she was 30 something when she came
That's so
here.
funny that you mentioned that. Because before we actually moved into the States to stay, we used to come to Austin to visit. And the first time we came over, we came in the bus, and I'm pretty sure in Laredo or somewhere, we took the Greyhound to Austin. And I saw the first black guy. Because I must have been like maybe 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
And you will only see him in movies, right?
Sure.
So I remember him clearly because I looked up to him and I was like, oh my God, he's huge.
He's so tall, right?
He's real, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so funny because I remember that.
And it's great because we don't even think about that, because we're like, I'm from New York and it's a melting pot. And I grew up with black people, Salvadorians, Cubans, Dominicans, some Mexicans. And so when I go to Mexico, I went to their like small little country town.
Yeah.
There was no black people, no white people, no nothing.
Funny.
They were all just Mexicans. Just every single one of them. And you're just, I guess because we're so used to diversity living in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I didn't even think about that. I am trying to talk English and nobody speaks a lick of English.
Right.
It's crazy about things like that. But no, I love hearing that, your family has definitely just been so great in regards to like, coming over here and trying to give everybody a better life. And it kind of like, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now, especially in terms of like the immigration crisis, right? That's been a huge topic going on. I actually did an episode with my very good friend, Jessica Gonzalez. She was on the show and we talked a lot about that.
Good.
And I have to say, for me personally, when I view things in a political lens, I do tend to be kind of center right. However, when it comes to the immigration thing, I just can't get on board with that. Like, I love the idea of people wanting to come over here, have a better life, and I feel like they should be afforded that opportunity. And I wonder for you, you mentioned just cartels a little bit ago. Do you think that there are people who might be amplifying the hate towards immigrants when it comes to things like that because of like the trouble? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And immigration is a very sensible subject, right? Of course, this is a great country.
Yeah.
This is an amazing country, despite of everything that's going on and what people may say in the media.
Right.
There's a reason why people want to migrate to the States, and that's pretty much for security, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Here, if you feel like you're getting a heart attack, you call 911 and the ambulance is there in 3 minutes, right? We don't have that in our countries. And if we are being attacked or if we're being robbed, the police won't come, right?
Right.
So a lot of people come to this country because not only for the opportunity to work, because right now, like I said, it's hard to make money right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's not the same as it was back in the 70s when my parents used to come and, save up. It's hard. It's just survival.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that migration has been part of history since the beginning of mankind, right?
I agree with you.
People migrate for survival purposes, right? And a lot of people don't see that part. They're just like, well, they're all criminals because they cross the border. And if you cross the border, because that's the idea that's out there right now, they're all criminals. Well, what about if these criminals are just here to try to feed their families? And work, right? Because we need the labor.
Right.
We need it. I speak to a lot of business owners. They're like, I can't find anybody to work. Everybody's scared to get out there. And there's just people now wanting to, the ones that, are legal, they don't want to work these jobs. Right? The hospitality, nobody wants to make beds or clean bathrooms and stuff like that. So I think America needs the migrants.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that they're trying to send back the criminals, please do.
I agree.
Send them back.
I do agree.
And
the criminals. The murderers, the child molesters, them.
And some citizens that truly don't deserve to be in this country.
Right.
I mean, there's American citizens that probably need to be sent back with them too.
Girl.
And just because, if you want to make this country great, you have to look at the big picture.
Right.
Now, the immigration system is a broken system.
Yeah.
Period.
100. Yes, it is.
Period.
So I agree
And
with
the
you.
reason why I can, I feel free to talk about this is because it has hit home. It affected me personally.
Oh, okay.
So, whenever you reach out to me and you ask me, what do you want to talk about? Is there something in particular? I said immigration.
Yeah.
Because I've lived it, I've felt it. And every time I see just innocent people being taken away with their babies, it just hurts.
Yeah.
Because I've been there,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut you off.
no, you're fine.
Yeah, and I love that you say that, and you make some really good points that, like, when I told you that I was kind of leaning center right in the politics with the immigration thing, that's what I want people to understand. Like, I think you and I even agree, like, even your family immigrating from Mexico, you agree the criminals should be sent back. But for the people that are just coming over here trying to live a better life, and one of the things that I see a lot in the media, like in a lot of the content that I watch personally, Vianey, is they're like, the example, like, that a conservative, I hate to label them that, but they'll say is, would you let an immigrant in your house and live with you and do these things even though they're a stranger? I'm like, but that's not what's happening. What I see, and the immigrants that I know, they are all shacking up together at, one person's place or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you call them, the people that take the immigrants in or whatever. And then they're all working to eventually, buy a house fairly and, get an apartment fairly and things like that. So I don't see, I guess what I'm trying to say is the argument is that immigrants are coming over here and just being given things, just being given houses. I don't see that.
No.
I don't see, like, can you guys please tell me just where? Because I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't see them being, like, I just don't.
Yeah.
Now,
what was that show that was like, that is a lie? Was it Maury or something?
Oh, yeah. The lie
Remember
detector
that?
test determined that's a lie. Yeah, that's Maury.
That is a lie.
Love Maury. But I didn't like that example, and I don't think that's a fair example because the immigrants that I see are all shacking up together at like one person's place that is allowing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I don't ever just see like somebody crossing the border, but oh, here's your 5-bedroom house for you and your family, and a job at Costco. Like I'm not seeing that. So why is that the argument? You know?
I think I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but I can tell you, there's laws in place for not political. What is it? Asylum.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they've been in place since ever. Well, the thing, I feel like, this is just my opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like what happened was like people just went to TikTok. And this whole TikTok deal said, and I keep hitting this, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
And because I talk with my hands a lot.
Yeah, same. That's why
I need to do that. Okay, so in TikTok, they're like, hey, guess what? If you do this, and that, and come to the border, they will give you asylum. So the last administration had no control over that.
Okay.
I just feel like it was out of control. I agree with that.
Okay.
And I'm not taking sides here, of course.
Well, first of all, we're not political commentators,
We're not,
everybody.
no.
We are just stating our opinions.
Yeah,
Y'all
make
been
sure you
watching the
put that
public
in the
for 5
captions.
years. Okay, no, I'll say it. Don't be coming to my DMs. Listen, I said it on the last show with Jessica. I have friends that are conservatives, friends that are liberals.
which I love,
I'm very much embracing everybody. But
Yeah,
we're
of
entitled
course.
to our opinion. Everybody is.
Yeah. So it was out of control. And I don't know, they say, and I've heard that people were getting handouts like a $5,000 Visa card so they can go spend money and stuff like that. I don't know about those people that were coming during the latest time, of the last administration. But for us, just from experience, as a non-resident or non-citizen, you cannot apply for food stamps. You cannot apply for housing because the application says clearly that you cannot obtain benefits. Okay? You have to be a resident or you have to be a citizen. The kids can, but they cannot get housing if they're not over 18.
Yeah.
So nobody's getting paid their rent if they're not documented that I know of.
Right,
okay?
right.
So there's, of course, programs like WIC, which is amazing. They give you free milk for those girls that can't produce a lot for their babies. So, the kid being a citizen is entitled to that.
Right.
And that's great that they have that help, but no, I don't feel like, and there's a lot of misinformation, and we talk about it now with my fiance. We talk about it. Yeah. Because, he's American and he never knew about stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not that, well, he didn't really get into the subject because it didn't hit home.
Right.
He didn't have an immigrant, in the family kind of thing. So he never looked into it. And there's so many things that I tell him nowadays that he's like, I had no idea. I had no idea. And there's a lot of people out there that have no idea.
Exactly.
Right? They just go by what the media is saying. And the media just want to portray all the immigrants as they're here to get our freebies. No.
Yeah. I do. I agree with you, Vianey. I do think that social media does play a huge part in like negative connotations. An example and a question that I kind of want to lead into, and the only example that I can give, like as a gay guy, right? I feel like there's a lot of in media. There's a lot of activists. Hear me out here. There's a lot of activists who are not gay, lesbian, whatever, that fight for our rights, but I don't feel like they're giving my message across appropriately. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like what you're doing is you're fanning the flames. So when I was looking at a lot of like the protesters and things like that, everybody has the right to protest. A lot of them made some really good points, but there were a lot of people, in my opinion, that I feel like, I don't think you know what you're protesting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think you're giving a bad name to the actual immigrants that are actually trying to do it. Do you see where I'm going with that?
I hear you.
So how do you feel about things like that? Do you think that a lot of people are miseducated when they're doing protesting and stuff like
100%.
that? Okay.
And I hate to see those people burning cars.
Right.
And making, breaking windows and stuff like that. And usually those are the U.S. citizens, the ones that are going to get arrested. They're going to be locked up for 24 hours and then released.
Yes.
No immigrant. And I can tell you this because we have a lot of respect for this country. And I'm just speaking for myself. I'm pretty sure there's the bad ones, right?
Right.
But my daddy always said whenever we came over, respect the country. Like you said, this is not your house. But if we're going to make it our home, we have to respect it. So we have to treat it like if it was home. So for that, pay your taxes. Don't mess with the police. Don't do anything stupid that will get you in jail. And there's a lot of people out there, and I feel like those on the protests that are doing the bad things, those are definitely, people that just want to be out there and want to be baddies. And they just need an excuse.
Yeah, I agree.
I
do agree. One thing that I'm seeing a lot on social media too, like, so for instance, ICE is another big topic, right? And so there's a lot of people, from what I'm seeing on social media, kind of putting out fake ICE raids, or like saying ICE is here, kind of using it as scare tactics or just to stir up the drama. You know what I mean? And so I wonder, what is your perspective as somebody? And I love getting your perspective because you're an actual immigrant from Mexico, right? And so when it comes to like ICE and the warnings that people are giving out and things of that nature, do you kind of get upset when people are using it just to be funny? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because they're scaring everybody, right? People were not traveling for a minute. Because they were like, well, if you're not yet a resident or a citizen, if you only have a work permit, then you shouldn't travel. And then I asked, because I ask questions. And I asked a TSA agent at the airport, because they know better. They're the ones that do them. They're the ones that screen them.
They actually work there.
Yeah, they actually work there.
Actually do
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say that. I always ask a professional. Don't be asking, if... I'm not going to ask my doctor how to change the oil in my car, right? So just ask a professional. So I asked one of the TSA agents, and I said, hey, is it true that, people that have work permits or this relief or whatever can't travel? They're like, no. And that's the reason why we don't get anybody here. Because it's all in the media, and it's false sometimes. So always ask the ones that know.
And just for the record, you are for immigration.
I am.
I am too.
I feel like there has to be a reform for those who have been here for years. Okay, you already know them. You already know where they're at. You know their ways, right? So if they haven't been a criminal for 30 years, they're probably not going to start right now when you give them the opportunity. And I speak for a lot of my clients. I have clients that I have sold beautiful properties. They like. We're talking about people that have businesses, and a lot of people, you will think they're here legally, but they're not. And they have these great companies. I had a client that had like a tree service company, and he's banking. He's doing amazing. He's a great guy. He helps his employees and all, but he cannot get to legalization because he came from Mexico, married to his wife. They've been together forever. And the only way he could get legalized was through a spouse. And he's like, I'm not going to divorce my wife just to get my papers, right? So here he is, and he's paying thousands of dollars every year, right? On federal. And then he's not getting anything back. He cannot get benefits. And if he retires undocumented, he will never be able to collect social or any type of Medicare or anything like that.
So essentially, he just has to work.
Yeah, he's just giving. He's giving to the system, and he's never going to get anything back.
And I agree. I don't know if I don't want to put words in your mouth. I do agree. Like, the process of becoming a citizen
Mm-hmm.
is so arduous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kudos to everybody that goes through it, right? But when I
Mm-hmm.
watched my best friend have to make his wife a citizen, because I was like, let's just go pick her up. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I was like, just go get her, like, whatever. I crossed the Mexican border. Y'all want to talk about Border Patrol? Some of them need to do a little bit. I could have brought back whoever I wanted.
Oh my goodness.
No, yes, I could.
We could have done a lot of
Girl,
business back then.
Let me tell you something. When I crossed the Mexican border, I was like, hold on a second. That was it? It's because they thought I was annoying.
That's so funny.
And he was just like, go, go. I was like, we could have had anybody in the back seat.
How funny.
That's a joke, by the way. They'll be coming at me.
Yeah,
But-
I hate
okay.
immigration. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I really did. For the record, I did not. But no, when I was watching my best friend make his wife a citizen, I was like, this is a hot mess. The amount of money that went into it, the times it got sent back. Like, this is crazy. And now I see why people just come by, but I agree. I just don't think that people who are coming over here simply working and just like minding their business, staying out of trouble, I don't think that we should be targeting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't think that we should be pulling up at construction sites or, the Waco Bridge. I didn't read too much into this article. Did an article about Sergio's food truck, the gentleman that just got deported. And
Did he? Oh my God. I know he was fighting his case.
Let me not put any misinformation out there. I don't know if he got deported or not. I need to read the article, but was bothered.
He was
by
in the
that.
system.
Yeah. And so I don't think that we should be targeting those. You know what I mean? Like, criminals, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If you arrest them for anyway. What more can you leave us on in the immigration?
Yeah.
before?
So
Sorry.
going back to the immigration being such a broken system. Yes, it's hard. A lot of people are under the impression that, well, why then just get in line and pay their fees. It's not about money. It's not about money. Like this client of mine that I was telling you about, he can easily pay $10,000-$20,000, even $100.
Yeah.
Right, to get his green card, but that's not the way it works.
Right.
But it's funny because nowadays with social media and all this dating apps,
Hello.
there are 80-year-old men or women finding their true love abroad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
they
they're
are.
like 20 years old. And because they, the person over there doesn't have any type of entries or record here in the States, they can bring them in 6 months.
Right.
And it's so easy. And then I'm like, are you freaking serious? Like 80 and 20? No,
Right, yeah.
that's not love. That's the green card. But anyway,
that's molestation.
right?
Okay. 80 and 20, that's a big age gap. Okay.
So, but that's the way it works. But for those who cross the border or who came even with a visa like I did and overstayed, it's a longer process because once you turn 18, right? It doesn't matter if you came in legally as a child, your legal presence starts counting. And after a year, there's certain rules that apply, right?
Okay.
So that's why for me, it's been such a long process because I didn't understand that. I was never told that.
Right.
The one time I found out I was not documented back in high school was because I was in an Italian class. So
Okay.
in Chicago, I took Italian rather than Spanish.
Yes,
I was in the Spanish class because, it was an easy A.
That's an easy A. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Pass all the tests.
And then I was working for an Italian lady, and she's like, "What are you doing taking Spanish?
Yeah.
You already know it." Well, that's an ECA. We'll take Italian. It's similar. So anyway, I had the highest grade in my class, the highest rank, and they invited me to go to Italy.
Oh, okay. Hello.
And they were like, "Hey, it's all we're gonna pay for it. The school's gonna pay for it because of your grades." Blah
Ooh,
blah
that
blah.
school has some money.
So then I was like, "Mom, they're paying this trip to Italy for me. They want me to
okay.
go." And my mom's like, "You can't go." I'm like, "What do you mean I can't go? I have my visa, my passport. I came here.
Yeah.
Right? So I should be able to go." She goes, "Yeah, but you can't. It expired and you're here, blah, blah, blah."
Mom.
And that was just like, are you serious?
Wow.
What does it mean? And that's when I found out. And I wasn't 18 yet when I found out that I didn't have a status. And it's very shocking because I know a lot of people out there are going through the same thing.
Yeah, for
Their
sure.
kids were brought in little. They had no idea. They don't know anything about the system.
Right.
But anyway, thank goodness DACA, and this is, again, not being not talking about politics here,
Right.
but Obama, thank you, Obama, because he implemented DACA, which helped a lot of us who came, as young kids that went to school here, and they gave us a relief.
I see.
I was in DACA for a long time. Now I'm in a different program kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've been seeking, being here protected without having to worry about, oh my God, I'm going to get picked up.
Sure.
But there was a certain time in my life when I was very worried about it, you know?
Gotcha.
And I feel that for these people because you can't go from Waco to Dallas without thinking, I'm going to get stopped. You know, and all I'm going to do, all I'm doing is, you know, going over there for work.
Yeah.
So I feel it. But DACA came into my life, and that was, gosh, it's been, 13 years now or so?
Time, yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But whenever they put that in place, it helped a lot of people like me.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, later on, getting my green card and stuff, of course, you know, I moved into something else. But I'm very thankful for that.
I'm really happy to
I'm
hear
very
that.
thankful.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we can go on about the immigration thing.
We can be here for hours.
Yeah, we'll be here for hours. But, you know, definitely other things. But I appreciate all your insight. And, you know, I know the immigration topic is super sensitive. You know, I was even scared to do the episode with my girl Jessica. But, you know, it was well received regardless of the fact. And, you know, we can move on. Or, excuse me, we can go on for hours like we just stated. But thank you for giving us your perspective on that. And, you know, she's definitely the shining example of somebody who just wants to come over here and work and, you know, make a good life for themselves and possibly be on telenovelas. Okay. Listen, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, there's another character arc in Vianey's story that I really want to get into revolving around domestic violence. Okay, but we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, guys, we're going to have more of my very, very special guest, Vianey Suarez, here on The Public Affairs. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this exciting episode of The Public Affair. My very special guest, Vianey Suarez, is on The Public Affair. Now, before we continue, I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Julian and Ana Banda with Banda's Hauling Service. That's right. They rent dump trailers. You fill it up. They haul it away. You know, so when you're selling a house, there's a lot of junk in the house. You can just call Banda's Hauling Service. He's going to pull up on you. Yes, I'm going to give you the number. I'll pass it to you after this, okay? He also does junk removals, tree brush removals, and they haul cars in and out of town. And so when your car breaks down and you need a tow truck and you need affordable, he's got you. All that tree brush removal, all that junk in the house, on the yard, whatever you need it removed, Banda's Hauling Service is 100% reliable and can always be counted on. Julian, thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. Make sure you guys book with him on the number on the screen and save that number, please. Of course, the Chefito's Kitchen with Al Gutierrez and Adriana Gutierrez. You guys, I love Chefito's Kitchen because tú sabes que soy boricua. Me encanta mi arroz con gandules, mi pernil, mi plátano maduro, y mucho, mucho más, okay? Yeah. He also has Cuban sandwiches, la tripleta sandwiches, chicken skewers. He's got a wide array of menu items from the likes of Peru, Colombia, Mexico, Puerto Rico, so many different Spanish countries, and it's absolutely fantastic. Chefito's Kitchen is doing their thing. You can also hit them up for catering as well. Al, Adriana, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, Oh, you said you go to Elite Barbershop. You take your son to Elite Barbershop. Hello. Yeah. Sid Rodriguez, located at 135 North Hewitt Drive, Suite 121, who's been a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair. He's got me looking all snackish for this episode of the show. Walk-ins are welcome as well. You can also download the Squire app to book conveniently your appointment. It's a family-friendly environment. They also have Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Isai Reyes, Sam Ceballos, and Kayla Chapa, making you look as snackish as I have for more than 260 episodes of The Public Affair to Elite Barbershop. Thank you guys so much. Sid, you're the GOAT. We love you. Thank you so much. And of course, the Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez. They offer team, small group, and individual skills training and fantastic childcare services for when you guys are at work, have to run errands, you need daycare services. Soko Soccer Academy is absolutely the establishment to get your kiddos involved and to keep them active, social, and out of trouble. And of course, for the adults, if you guys are into soccer, make sure you check out their social media so you guys can check out the occasional open plays that they have and the leagues that they have all year long. There's a league every few months. So Soko Soccer Academy, Dominic Gutierrez, Ariana Gutierrez, thank you guys so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. I truly appreciate all of your support. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And I've got more of my very special guest, Vianey.
Hey.
I'm having such a good time. I just keep eyeballing this red wine, but I got things to do after this. And we're here early in the morning, by the way, guys.
We'll drink it after work.
Okay, hello. Yes, I'm going to call it. You know what? We need to do brunch sometime.
Yeah, we do.
You and I would have a fantastic brunch. We'll invite we'll invite everybody. It'll be great.
You go.
Hello. Yeah. Now, you know, first of all, you mentioned earlier in the show, we could have spent the whole episode talking about real estate, right? and you know, I've done that, and I was like, I really want to get to know Vianey. You know what I mean? Like, there's more behind the banging body. You know, she's very smart, very poised. I love her. And you know, one of the things that you were willing to talk about was your experience in domestic violence. And actually, the editor was just telling me that it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Oh, is it?
I did not know that. Yeah. It's a horrible thing for people to go through, especially, I guess I would assume that it was in a relationship that with somebody you trusted. Can you kind of walk us through that part in your life? You mentioned that it was a chapter in your beautiful life. I don't want to misquote you, but the fact that that's a part of who you are, and I don't want to say embrace it, but for lack of a better term, do you know what I mean?
I think that's the word.
Okay,
I will accept that.
sure.
Embrace it.
Okay, what can you tell us about your experience with domestic violence?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, a lot of people don't like to talk about it.
Right.
For me, it's just, it had to happen to make me grow. And that's the way I see it. It was with my first husband, of course, and it wasn't easy. I married a great guy. When we first met, it was at a club, and he was with his parents. He took his mom and dad to the club, which I was like, oh my God, that's weird. Because you usually meet the single guys drinking and stuff, and they say it's not the best place to find a man.
In the bathroom, Alasan, Junction 84.
Right?
We pressed delete on those days, girl.
So, I know. Yes. So, we fell in love, and he was great until he started making some bad choices.
Okay.
Which I didn't agree with. And that was kind of like, well, if I start selling this or if I start doing this, I can make money easier. My cousins are doing it, and why not? So I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that he wanted to get himself into.
Okay.
I wasn't raised that way. I was looking at my parents' example as, I want somebody to walk along with me, right? I wasn't looking for somebody to pay my bills. I started working whenever I was 12 years old. Don't tell the law. Child labor.
Okay, girl. Oh, please. We've all been to the Mexican restaurants. Coming out with my last guest, he was saying that, because he's Vietnamese and they grew up in the nail salon, he said if you get an Asian kid at the Chinese store, it's the best Chinese food.
Right? The donut place in Lorena, hey, kudos to them. They have their kiddos there. I love them.
Okay.
So anyway, well, I've always had kind of that sales pitch in my blood. Sure. My parents were merchants in Mexico, and I remember because they had a produce stand out there, and I remember, counting the money and just putting it, because the way I keep my money, if I ever have cash, I usually don't carry cash, but you'll see them all organized, because my daddy would be like, here, take care of this, and I would put, the money in stacks and stuff. So ever since then, I had that idea of, look, if you do this, if you're a hard worker, you're going to make money and you're going to have a comfortable life, 100%. Right? So that's what I wanted with my husband. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. He not only started, I don't know, I can't say anything about him. Yeah. He turned his life around again now, it seems like. And I'm happy for him and his new family. And I hope he really got away from the bad stuff. But back then it was hell. Yeah. It was hell because I was part of, of that, his circle whenever he wasn't making the right decisions. Right. And initially it was like everything. I'm pretty sure it starts with psychological abuse, verbal abuse. And it got to the point when he was just out of control, and I'm always thinking like, we need to go to therapy. Yeah. I'm doing something wrong. You get dragged into that and you're like, maybe if I did something different, maybe if I had a little more patience for him. But then once you start seeing weapons,
like you were blaming yourself.
Kind of. Okay. And I think that's part of, the whole process. And, I'm pretty sure most of the victims that have gone through it could agree with me on this. You just want to become the hero, and you cannot be someone's hero at all. Oh, yeah. And it got to the point where I was just like, I need to get away from this. And especially whenever he started bringing weapons around, and I had my then 4-year-old and I was pregnant, and I just didn't agree with a lot of that stuff. Sure. So it got to the point where he became physical. And that one time he became physical, I said, that's enough. Okay. I had never seen my dad hit my mom. Wow. So, that was something that I kept in my mind. I'm not going to allow a man to touch me or to hit me because I don't deserve that. Now, if I was a stay-home mom getting all her bills paid, that's not even an excuse. Right. I'm just getting into a point. A lot of girls may take that, not me. No. I've always been a producer. Yeah. I've always been a go-getter. I hate sitting at home. Right. So I'm not going to take no verbal and especially no physical abuse from my guy.
You mentioned just that second ago that a lot of women that are stay-at-home moms and stuff like that, it seems like the issue prolongs. Do you know what I mean? Like they stay in it because there's really there's no cushion to fall back on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I have this conversation with some of my friends often. It's like, while I do respect the the concept of a stay-at-home mom and, you know, traditional values and stuff like that. I always feel like it's important for everybody to make sure they have something to fall back on, because just like you were building a family with somebody, it didn't turn out the way you planned.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things just happen. And so, you know, and I also love that you're talking about it too. And, you know, I wanted to ask you about forgiveness, because you just said that, you know, you wish that you hope that he, you know, has become better and he's gotten a family and everything like that. People don't like revisiting the past of their mistakes. People just want to act like it just didn't happen and act like they're hunky dory. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I really appreciate what you just said about that, because here's a man that was putting you through the ringer and putting you through things that you just absolutely did not deserve. How and long did it take for you to find forgiveness for him and wish those good things on him?
I think therapy has to do a lot with it.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't go to therapy, girl. There's a lot of people I need to forgive.
You know, therapy should be part of everyone's life. Okay. You know, we should get a massage for our back and we should get therapy for our mind. Okay. I love that. It takes a minute. I was mad at the world for a minute. It took, you know, I was at that point where I was just like, okay, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And then I became irate. I became just mad.
Like bitter.
Yeah. Bitter towards men. I wasn't trusting guys. I was like, no, you know, I'd rather do it on my own. And raising 3 kids on your own is hard. It's so hard whenever you don't have, you know, the economical portion, the other half, right, nor the emotional. You need to have both parents in your lives.
I agree.
You know, you have to. That's why, you know, right now there's things that I wish I would have done different. And one of those things is I wish I would have had my exes more involved in my kid's life.
Oh, okay.
That's the one thing.
Even regardless of everything.
Yeah. Now, yeah, you know, if I noticed that he was on the same path, of course not, because you want to protect your babies. Right. You want to make sure that your babies are not at risk. But once you see that the person has tried to change their life and to turn it around, then why not forgive them? We all make mistakes in our lives, right? We're not perfect. I've made mistakes, and I feel like everybody does in this world, because otherwise we wouldn't be humans.
Right, I agree.
So the fact that I'm just like, thank you for making me grow, even though it was painful back then, it made me more humble as well.
Wow.
It definitely made me more humble, because now I can, you know, go back and be like, I can speak about this. And if anybody's watching and if you want some resources, hey, call me. Yeah. Call me.
I wonder, how long did it take you to kind of come out and talk about it? Because a lot of women, they feel so much shame when they go through it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like we were just saying a second ago, a lot of people just kind of press delete and act like it didn't happen and then move on. I wonder how long it took for you to publicly speak about it.
Whenever you start realizing that your life cannot be perfect, right? As much as you try, a lot of people may see me as put together and they're like, oh, she has had it all. She got it together. You know, she can do this. But then behind that or inside that person, there's a lot of things that have gone in my life, in my case, where I just have learned to embrace them. And before I was like, oh, nobody needs to know that, you know, I was abused. Right. That will make me less of a woman, you know? But then my daughter is now 20, and there's stuff that we talked about with her. And I'm like, listen, I went through this, and I want you to hear my story. Right. Because I hope it prevents you from going through the same thing. Gotcha. And when your kids are growing up, I think it helps a lot as a person, because then you're like, it's okay that it happened, because if it happened to me, we will cut those cycles. And we will not allow that to happen to you again. Wow. Right? Wow. So I've seen, and just yesterday I was listening to a story about a woman in her late 30s that's going through those abusive relationships. And this was coming from her daughter telling me this. And I was like, I pray for her to get out of it eventually, because she needs to cut those cycles. Because otherwise, if you are looking into this, you know, you have to realize as her daughter that this is not right. This is not the way a relationship should go on. So you are the one that needs to change this. And hopefully your mom will get out of it so she can be happy. Wow. Because that's the thing. If you want to be happy, you have to let it go. Wow. You have to.
I think that's so important. How, you know, you mentioned, you know, your daughter being 20 and everything. Was it hard to have that conversation with your kids, you know, about their dad and stuff like that? You know, Because it would sound to me that dad wasn't in the picture almost because you didn't want him to be.
I didn't want him to be. And during the time he was not right.
Okay. Fair enough.
During that time, I was undocumented.
Okay, got you.
So he will use that against me. And it was more like I need to hide from him.
Wow.
Because he had me under his control.
Wow.
And, I know a lot of women are out there and even men under the circumstances. And it's scary because, they have you at their mercy. So I had to hide for a minute. And they know that. My kids know my story and I'm very open to them about it. But once I got my documents and I got my status.
She's like, what now?
I'm like,
she's like, what you got now? Hello.
Because I was legally married to him.
Oh, God.
I know.
I love how you say that. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, I was like, slap in the face.
Okay.
Well, I stayed married to him for a long time just because I didn't want to file because I didn't want him to find me.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then, when this whole DACA came around, I was like, here's my divorce. I don't want to be married to this guy. Because when you're legally married, there's certain things that you can't do unless they sign for stuff, especially for the kids, like passports and stuff like that.
Right.
And my fear was like, if I get sent back, what's going to happen to my babies?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I won't be able to take them back with me. So it was one of those things that just gave me power. I was like, screw that.
Okay.
Now I can speak up. Now I can get divorced. Now I can gain my independence, you know? So
have you talked to him?
Okay. I have.
Have you talked to him? Do you have your guy, like about it? Like
no, not about it.
Not about it. Okay.
I don't believe we can have a good conversation about it because everybody sees the picture differently, right?
Right.
And the way I understand things now, or at least my psychologist helped me understand things, things that happen in your past, it becomes an illusion. So it's the way you want to see it. So if we were both part of it, I may see it totally different than you. If there's a car accident happening and, people are like screaming and stuff, you may see it different from your perspective than me. So I feel like with him, we cannot have that. And I already found closure myself. I don't need to have a conversation with him. I don't. And because he might see it like, well, it was you that messed up. And I don't want that. I know my story very well.
Right.
And I don't want anybody to tell me whether or not it's right or wrong. It's my story. Right. So, and the way I want to close that chapter, like I told you, it was a chapter in my book and it's gone. Would it happen again? I hope not. I will not allow a man to talk to me like that or treat me like that. It just had to happen for me to understand that you have to close that chapter and let it go. Keep it where it's at.
I need your psychologist because I'm in my redemption arc right now, where I'm calling like whoever wants to talk. There's a lot of people that have done me wrong in the past. I'm like, we can have an open conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like open conversations are so important.
Yeah.
But everybody has to be willing to be, honest about what happened. And hearing your perspective just now, it's almost as if you're gonna be opening a wound and letting more toxicity in. And I guess I just never saw it that way. I always saw like, we need to have a talk. We need to readdress this. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people in my life. Yeah. And there's one in particular who I could think of. We were real good friends in the past, and but I don't know. I love that. I love that for you. And obviously, you've grown stronger from it. I don't want this to sound like a stupid question, but because you keep referencing that it was a chapter in your life and you had to go through it. Do you think you were meant to go through something like that?
I don't know. That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Life is like that bully. That's just like throwing shit at you.
Yeah.
And either you become a victim of life, or you become a fighter and be like, okay, come in, let's do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about life. And before, there was a point in my life when I was just the victim. Oh my God, why me?
Yeah.
Out of 8 siblings in my family, why me?
Yeah.
And I would always imagine how bad I was. Like I was, I wish somebody else was living my life. Like, come on, no, it's okay. And I've gotten this from a lot of people, and they've told me the reason why things happen to you is because you can overcome them. And for a minute, I was like, well, I don't want to be the strong woman. I want to be the dumbass that nothing happens to and stuff like that. I just want to be like comfortable.
Sure.
Because whenever you go through different things in life, they hurt.
Right.
And, there's a pain level. Whenever you go to the doctor, they ask you, what's your pain level from 1 to 10?
Yeah.
And there's situations in your life that pain level doesn't even work. You're at 100.
Right, for sure.
Because it's a different pain, right? And I didn't want to be a divorced woman. I wanted to be with that guy forever. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
Had I been with him, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Right.
So just for me, was it meant for it to happen? It had to happen to someone,
Gotcha.
And I was the chosen.
Gotcha.
I was the chosen.
I just love your perspective on it, and thank you for sharing that with us. And obviously you've come a long way from that part in your life, and I hope that people going through that can hear your part of your story and really just know that they can overcome it and they don't have to be victims of it. You know what I mean? And really just become strong and strong-willed. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I hate this so much. You and I have got to go to brunch. Like,
we do.
But before we go, real quick, you're involved in real estate here in town. Okay. A little bit about that. How can we get a hold of you? What insight can you give us in terms of the real estate market these days and things of that nature?
So really quick, before I became an agent, I was an investor.
Hello.
So I had saved $20,000 from my tax returns.
She don't care.
Because with 3 kids, you get money. I had a W-2 job, and I was getting tax returns.
Yeah.
And all the girls in the office were buying their Coach purses and their Michael Kors and all that. And I was just like, no, okay, I need to save up my money.
Right.
Because my daddy has always been good in finances and he was always like, hey, you need to save up to get a house and blah, blah, blah. So then I saved up $20,000 and I was the richest girl in the world.
Yes.
So then I wanted to put that money to work. So I bought this piece of land outside of Austin. And then 6 months later, I resold that. And I was like, oh my God, I made $13,000. Damn it, that's good.
Okay.
Right?
So it like clicks with something. Yeah.
So then I invited my dad and my brother into, hey, this is what investing is all about. Let's do it. So we started buying before the whole explosion happened in Austin.
Sure.
We started buying just like plats of land, and then we will hold on to them and resell them. Well, I lost a really good deal because our realtor back then was on vacation.
Oh, okay.
And I needed to put an offer on this great piece of land, and she wouldn't answer the phone. And I get it, now I get it that I need to respect their time. But if you see me on vacation, I'm like, hold
Are
on,
you
guys.
sneaking away? You're at the beach.
Literally, like I'm a baby.
That was my first year of the public affair too. That I learned that you have to put your phone away.
Yeah, you do. You do sometimes. And but back then she wouldn't answer for 3 days, so we lost the deal. So we talked about it with my dad, and an ex-boyfriend of mine had already kind of told me about a real estate. Hey, you should get into real estate. You're good with sales and stuff like that. Because I was working for a phone company really quick, and I will buy the outdated phones and resell them to our community.
Oh, okay.
I've always been
That's hustler.
I've always been a hustler.
Yes.
So then I was like, I'm going to get my license. Right. But I thought back then that realtors needed to go through college and maybe like a 4-year degree, because some of them present themselves very well.
Very well,
and you're like, oh my God, they have a degree.
Right.
When I found out it was like a 6-week
class.
course.
The test.
I know. The test. I was like, oh, I got this.
You got this, yeah.
Went to get my test, and then I was still in my full-time job, but then my mom started telling everybody, hey, my daughter sells houses. So next thing you know, everybody's calling me. I'm doing videos on social media. Hey, hola, buenas tardes, soy Vianey Suarez, agente de bienes raíces. And I started getting the calls. I started getting the calls.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I left my job, not even 6 months after getting into real estate, and here I am.
Good job.
So my thing with my clients is not only, hey, let's buy your first home or your home and get into a 30-year mortgage. No, let's buy this home, and then a couple years from now, let's revisit and have you look into possibly buying your second home so you can become an investor. And then your third and your fourth and so on. So that way you can retire with rental income. So that's what makes me different from the realtors. They just want to sell you a home, or they just want, I try to educate my clients to where, hey, great, here are the keys to your house. Congratulations. Let's do it again. because it's doable.
Yeah, David, I don't know if you know David.
Yeah, he's great.
Love him.
Yeah.
And he's been a sponsor of the show for so long. I've worked with him twice to buy a house, and unfortunately, because of personal things, I couldn't go through with it. But fantastic guy to work with. And he mentioned the same thing. He was like, you never want to see your first home as like your forever home. Like this is just kind of like to start, get your feet wet, then eventually, like you just said, you're gonna want to like move on and buy something bigger, rent this out, or sell it, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, because I'm over here looking for my forever home. I don't want to move out.
And a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is cultural.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is cultural because, even the corridos that we listen to, tengo mi casita y mi familia, they never say, they need to start making corridos where they're like, I have 1, 2, 3 because I called this realtor and she helped me.
Maybe you should just go into songwriting, okay?
Right? Oh, they even rhymed. So I feel like, and I always put my story out there. I'm not shy about my story.
Right.
I always say, if I could do it, raising 3 kids, you can do it too. So it's been great, 10 wonderful years. It hasn't been easy, of course.
For sure.
I had nobody to walk me by the hand. I got into this myself. I had no one from my family or the friend circle of friends that were doing it. So I had to go through this by knocking on doors. And I just have to say thanks to social media because I put myself out there. I feel like I was one of the first ones that did the whole home celebrations and, the little videos. I'm kind of like a producer in my mind, believe it or not. When you say that I'm into, yes. I'm like a telenovela style. I'm already thinking like, if I had a telenovela, I'll do it. So the little videos that I do for my clients is like, okay, you tell me what song you want and then I'll produce it. And then now I have my son involved and he does the drone takes and stuff. So that actually plants a seed on someone's mind and they're like, I want to have that in my life.
Okay.
So the idea here as a realtor is to educate the community, and which they've been amazing with me, and just say, hey, let's grow your wealth by investing and stop paying rent, because if you're paying over $1,000 of rent, then you're not doing the right thing.
Oof. Well, not me, girl. I love that. Vianey, thank you for coming on to the show. If anybody is interested in maybe working with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, of course, they can find me on social media, Vianey Suarez, Texas Realtor, or they can call me at 254-300-6463.
Gotcha. Okay, well, listen, you're going to get a lot of DMs when the show comes out, okay? Tell the husband I'm sorry ahead of time, okay?
Not my husband yet.
Yeah, excuse me, the fiancé. The fiancé. Yeah, tell him I'm really sorry, okay? Just press block. Unless it's a business proposal.
There you go.
Vianey, thank you so much for coming on to this episode.
Invite.
Yes, I can't wait to dive into my wine this weekend. You guys, if you're interested in purchasing a home and you want to work with Vianey, make sure you guys follow her on her social media and reach out to her as well. Thank you so much for such a fantastic story, and I'm so grateful that we got to meet, and I can't wait to have our brunch date.
Yes.
Yes, I'm a mimosa's person.
There you go.
Okay, hold up. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. I've got more on the way. Now, before we go, I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Julio Arriaga with JC Painting and Drywall, LLC. You can contact him for all drywall and beautiful new paint for your property, both commercial and residential. His work is honest, true, and can guarantee 100% satisfaction. Truly living by his slogan, just imagine, and we can make it happen. His team is 100% trustworthy. They can go out there, remodel, paint, do whatever you need them to do. Se habla español también to my boy Julio Arriaga. Muchas gracias por todo. Thank you so much for everything. Of course, the Pollo Box and Audio with Jeffrey Monreal, home for all your LED needs and audio accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and so much more. Definitely a jack of all trade. He's done my tint, he's done my backup camera, my starlights, he's done everything to my vehicle, and I love my bass. So when I'm driving through South Terrace, that's me. That's me. Okay. To Pollo Box and Audio, make sure you guys hit him up. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. And of course, for everybody who needs a party decorator, anybody who has an event coming up and you need just some custom wooden backdrops, balloon props, or anything, you gotta hit up my girl Ana Limones with Hummingbird Party Backdrops and Decor. She's punctual, she's fantastic, she puts her blood, sweat, and tears in it, and your event is gonna stand out amongst every other event going on in town because she's truly fantastic. And you guys hit her up on the number on the screen. Wooden backdrops, balloon arches, anything you guys need in terms of party decorations, she's got you covered. Hummingbird Party Backdrops and Decor. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair, and to all of you guys, I truly appreciate you. Of course, to Vianey, muchas gracias. I appreciate you. Don't forget, guys, to always keep it between us.
Yes.
That's it.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.